Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning into the Financial Investor channel. My name is Brent, and today we're going to be discussing M1 Finance. What happens when you add, remove, rebalance, or change the target percent in your M1 Finance portfolio to say 1% or 0% or even a higher percentage. What do you have to do inside the portfolio? So if you are brand new to my channel, I do make stock market, personal finance, and real estate investment videos weekly. So consider subscribing for future videos. Let's go ahead and get into it. So right off the bat, what do you got to do to add a brand new stock to your portfolio? Well, once you have M1 Finance up, you have to go ahead and select Edit. From this point, you can go ahead and select Add, and you have a bunch of choices here, thousands of choices as far as stocks. You can even add different funds. You can go ahead and add different other funds that you've already created here, your pies. You can add expert pies. You can have stocks that you have on your watch list, which I have none. So in this example, we're going to go ahead and say, you know what, I want to add Microsoft to my portfolio. I go ahead and select Microsoft, select Add, and now it's added in my portfolio. I'm going to go ahead and hit Save, but it doesn't allow me to save because it says each of my slices must have at least 1% allocation. So I'm okay. I go ahead and punch in 1%. I hit Save again, but I have actual, I'm sitting currently over 100%. So in order to add a new stock to your portfolio, you have to say I give Microsoft 5%. I have to take away 5% from from a specific position or a number of positions. For here, for example, I'm going to go ahead and just take down Avi from 6% down to 1%. This would give me a total of 100%, and I could go ahead and select Save, and it would add Microsoft into my portfolio. By adding it into my portfolio, Microsoft would be sitting right here, wherever in my portfolio, but it would be worth nothing. It would be blank right now. Now, the next time on the next trading day, it would allocate cash into Microsoft first because the actual percentage of equity in that stock would be 0 in comparison to its target percent of 5%. So until it became close to any other stock as far as equity, the target percentage, all the new funds going into the account would more than likely target Microsoft from that point forward. So that is what happens, or that's how you go ahead and add a new stock to your portfolio. Now let's say we've lost confidence in a specific stock here. We want to go ahead and remove AT&T. In order to do this, I would go ahead and select Edit. I would go down to AT&T, which is currently allocated at a target percentage of 1. And I would go ahead and select it down to 0. I would then go ahead and say, hey, where do I want to stick the rest of that 1%? Go up to Avi, select it at 7%, and I'd go ahead and select Save. At this point, M1 Finance would see that my target weight for AT&T is currently 0%. This does cause a trigger to sell. The funds received from the specific sell would then be automatically reinvested back into the portfolio as long as the automatic investing function is turned on for the account. Now you can check this underneath your funding. You have 3 options here. You have the auto invest. If your cash exceeds $10 or more, M1 Finance will automatically invest your entire cash balance. Every week I put $10 into the account. This allows my previous week's dividends because I get paid out dividends every single week, plus my $10 to go into the account, basically averaging down all my stocks every single Monday, plus I'm able to add the previous week's dividends back into the account really fast, rolling it, dripping it basically. A little bit different, but I'm able to lower my unit cost and increase my yield on cost. Now, if you don't want to have your cash reinvested automatically, you can go ahead and select Don't Auto Invest My Cash. So now we've covered what happens when you want, how to add a stock to your M1 Finance portfolio. We've covered how to remove a stock for your M1 Finance portfolio, basically setting it to 0. So what happens if you want to rebalance? So right now, you have a number of stocks here that are all set to actual and target. So the actual number is on the top, which is the current equity percent of value of this specific stock in comparison to your overall portfolio. So here, this portfolio has $7,305.23 of equity in it. This specific stock is $358.60. If I were to go ahead and bust out my handy dandy calculator and go 353.6 divided by the total of the account, which is 7305.23, multiply that by 100, that would give me a 4.84% actual percentage, which is exactly what it says here, 4.8%. So that is how the actual is kind of getting that number. Now my target for Altria is 1%. So unless Altria equity falls below that 1%, M1 Finance will never target it. So going back to rebalancing, rebalancing would change. It would basically, if we go ahead and select it, it'll actually tell us what it does. It sells off your overweight slices, bringing your pie back down to, bringing your pie back to its targets. So M1 Finance will sell your overweight equity positions in comparison to its target, and it'll reallocate that money buying your underweight slices. So here, it would automatically target Altria. It would sell off 3.8% of the equity within this stock. It would sell off 4.5% of AT&T. It would sell off 3.7% of Avery, and it would allocate those percentages back across all these other stocks here to match them to their target percent. So it would actually sell off Blackstone, 0.9% of Blackstone, sell it off. It would put in 0.3% in the Avi, 0.6% in the Cisco, 0.7% in the JP Morgan, 2% in the, or 0.2% in the Lockheed, and so on. So that is rebalancing. Do I do rebalancing? No, not really. I've had other investors ask me in my Facebook group and other Facebook groups as well, and in the comment section, hey, how often do you rebalance? I don't like rebalancing. I like having strong stocks. I don't like to punish my losers. So in this example, I like having losers in my portfolio. I have a mixture right now of, if you were to pause the video, I have 9 positive and 9 negative. That allows me to I don't want to punish my winners. I want to go ahead and let them continue to rise. But my new money, it just goes ahead and lets me buy these stocks at a discount, lowering my unit cost average, increasing my my yield on cost, and just allowing me to kind of build up my dividend portfolio. I have a number of stocks here. All of these you may recognize: Kimberly-Clark, AbbVie, Stanley Black & Decker, WP Carey, Caterpillar, Walmart, AT&T, Altria, and Avery. So very strong stocks there, very well-known companies. So I don't like to rebalance. I like to just let my winners be, let my losers be. These are just sales that allow me to kind of buy in a little bit cheaper. And that is basically it. Now, what happens when you change your percentages down to, say, 1%? So I've kind of lost confidence in a few stocks, and I don't really feel like investing in them over the next. I still want to keep them in my portfolio, so I don't want to sell them off, so they're not at 0%. But at the same time, I don't really want to allocate any new money into these. And these would be AT&T. Let's go see if I can go ahead and bump these up to the top. Okay, so Altria and AT&T are basically, I kind of lost confidence in these over the kind of short term, so I don't want to allocate any new money into these. And at the same time, I don't want to sell them off. So I kind of want to let them just kind of settle into the account, let them simmer on a very low setting. So I went ahead and changed these to 1%. Now the actual of my portfolio is 4.8 and 5.5. So unless there's enough cash or equity in this portfolio where the Altria and AT&T become 1%, 0.9% of the total portfolio, M1 Finance will never target these with new cash. Instead, it'll just let them sit in the account as a target percentage of 1%. And because these are 1%, they don't take up much of my portfolio. I could actually have 100 stocks within this pie allocated with 1%, but I don't want to do that. I like to have a little bit smaller portfolio. I like to kind of keep in control of what stocks are in here. So just if you have lost confidence in a specific stock, you want to let it simmer on like a low setting, you go ahead and knock it down below its actual equity. That way your new funds no longer go into these. Or if you're looking to add a brand new strong stock into your portfolio. So in my example, I recently added AbbVie into my portfolio. It was sitting with very strong financials. I had a 4% yield right now. This week has been awesome. Stocks went down hard this week. That was a great buying opportunity for AbbVie. I was able to nab this thing at a discount. It has a very nice current yield of 4% and some change, 4.0%, 4.04% dividend yield. PE ratio maybe slightly, some would say this is high at 23.5, but forward PE is currently at about a 12 or 13, which is excellent for this portfolio. It's coming off as highs here of, let's see, where was its highs for the year? Let's go ahead and look here. So maybe about $98 and some change. So it is down here right now at $93. So it has came off its highs for the past couple months. So actually it did hit $106.23. So Avi right now, great dividend yield. They increased their dividend by 10%. But anyways, we're going off topic as far as the whole main point of this video is covering buying, selling, rebalancing, and why you would change percentages in your portfolio down to 1%, or if you want to add more stock. So here, Apple, for example, I bumped it up to 7% because it was a 6% in my portfolio, but I want to go ahead and continue averaging up in this position. So I went ahead and allocated 7% to Apple. So future funds will go into there. Even though it's positive, it actually, actual percentage is down in comparison to its target. So that is basically all I wanted to cover in this video. If you have any comments, questions, anything you would like to write to me, let me know in the comment section below. I always appreciate your guys' comments, so let me know. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you are brand new to the channel, I do make stock market, personal finance, real estate investment videos weekly, so consider subscribing for future videos. Again, if you did like the video, hit the thumbs up button below. I highly appreciate it, and that is it for this video, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.